heard about Michael Stepanian. Thank you, Dennis. You've heard about Michael, someone who defends those who need defending, a great supporter and chair of the Haight-Ashbury Clinic. And I like a quote on his site that says, "I'm never going to grow up. The best part of criminal law is the criminal lawyers. We get along and we have fun dealing with these cockamamie clients." Tell us about those clients.
David Smith is a very, very important man. His concept of health is not a privilege, but it's a right, resonates in the United States, has changed the whole fabric of medical care in the United States. And I was on the Haight-Ashbury Clinic board of directors. I was chairman of the board for 15 years, but with all due respects to David, he's absolutely wrong when it comes to when the clinic was founded and how long I was on the board. Absolutely wrong about that. And he's off by many, many years. And Mr. McNally is an archivist and brilliant man understanding what's going on, has the audacity to say that the arrest of the Grateful Dead was in 1967. That's absurd. Because I'm 55. And I have told many, many people that I'm 55. So it's impossible for me to have been representing these people in 1967. It's impossible for me to have taken LSD with Ken Kesey because I was only 11. Impossible. And I didn't go with Neil Cassidy and Kesey to La Honda when they had a tube of nitrous oxide in the trunk with a tube that goes from the trunk into the car, and we're sucking on it on the way to La Honda. That's impossible. I was only 9. So these concepts of time is absurd to me. Absurd to me. I mean, taking mescaline with Neil Cassidy when I was 7? Impossible! Impossible. But I grew up since then, and the illusion of my changing history and making up my age, what's wrong with that? What's wrong with that? I mean, politicians revise history all the time. We're hearing about it all the time. So as far as I'm concerned, in fact, look, I gave you some materials. Look at that picture. Look at that picture right now. Come on. Look at that picture right now. That picture is Tony, Sarah, and I a week and a half ago. Now, does that look like 76 and 80-year-old guys? Forget it. We're both 55. It's obvious. This is evidence that I'm giving you. This is evidence. It's the only way I can convince you of my age. Simple. Now, basically, there was a turning point when the Grateful Dead got arrested. That turning point in San Francisco was very, very important. And that is that when they got arrested, we had been cross-examining police officers here in the Haight, Officer Gerrans, Rodriguez, all these guys, for the last year and a half before that. And we were cross-examining them, and we were getting along with them, and dealing with them to the point where the guys who arrested the Grateful Dead came up to me and they go, "Look, Mike, I understand these kids using weed. That's fine. But can you not put the weed in your files? Because when we seized the files, there was all kinds of weed in there. I'm just saying, from now on, you know, put it away. I mean, you are lawyers. You are lawyers, I think. So that's the change in the mentality of this town, was that's when that happened. Now, I was in here, and Tony, I never represented chemicals because I didn't prefer chemical producers. Tony liked the chemical producers. He liked the acid manufacturers. He liked these people. You know, kind of, I don't want to say computer nerds. I don't want to say that. But Tony liked those people. He liked them. And I said to Tony here, when I was a child in '67, I said, look, Tony, let me have the smugglers. You can make the manufacturers of acid. You do that. I'm going to take care of the smugglers, dope dealers, the marine guys, the smugglers. These are my boys, you know, moving 500 pounds in Cherokee 6s. This is my kind of business, you know? I like Teamsters. I like these Vietnam vets, guys who went with helicopter, changed to props. They were bringing in the Cherokee 6s, landing on dry beds in Central Valley. These are my guys. So he said, fine. I'll take the manufacturers, the acid guys, the mescaline guys. I'll take those. You can take the guys who move the weed around. I said, good, Tony. So when people came to Tony and they had cases involving weed moving around here in this town, and I had the guys who, you know, kind of, how shall I say, Berkeley people, no sense of humor, kind of skinny, hair that's not washed. I mean, I wanted the rough and tumble boys, and that's how we evolved here as far as representation is concerned. I represented the Diggers, Emmett Grogan. These were my boys. They would steal food from Safeways and give it out in the park. They would jump on trucks, and they would sneak into trucks, open up trucks, and take the trucks, and grab the food, and give it out to the people. Tony represented more sensitive people. You know, guys who were in the, what was it called? Enlightened? What were the enlightened people?
Spiritual.
Was it?
Spiritual.
There was a commune here. Tony loved them. They loved Tony.
Good Earth.
The Good Earth commune.
Oh, yeah.
That was Tony's people. That was Tony's people. They, you know, I had the rough and tumble boys, and Tony had sensitive. But I'll tell you, the judges in San Francisco were extremely. Judge Wallenberg was a great federal judge. And one time I was representing somebody, and ultimately Judge Wallenberg said, come to the bench here. So I went up there, and Judge Wallenberg said, Mike, what is this cocaine? What's going on here with this? I mean, I'm seeing pounds of cocaine, making money, you know, middle-class people using it. What's the theory of this cocaine? Don't worry, it'll evolve, no problem. But the problem is that it's a moneymaker. It used to be $60,000 a pound, and now it became $12,000 and $13,000. In fact, for a period of time, cocaine cost more. Marijuana cost more than cocaine. Now, let me just say this. This man who's going to speak right here is a DA in the city and county of San Francisco. He is an example of an enlightened, refined, and understanding person in the city and county of San Francisco, and we are lucky to have men and women like him representing citizens accused of crime. And Andy is terrific. And Andy understands, and he, along with these people in San Francisco, have evolved where San Francisco is an enlightened, refined, and sophisticated town that we all live in, and why we enjoy being here. Except the traffic and the noise and the buses and you know. So that's it. I'm very happy. Bill Graham is a great man. Bill Graham called me up one time, tells me, look, go up to Santa Rosa. There's a guy up there I want you to represent. Janison, he called you. Please take care of this. And I represent James Gurley, who shot up with his old lady. She died. He represented her. I represented him. And he ended up with a possession. Right. The Grateful Dead, Danny Rifkin, and Rock Scully, to their great love for them, said, look, we'll eat a misdemeanor. We'll eat a misdemeanor. Let the dead go. Let's just go on with life. And they pled to a ridiculously innocent charge, which ultimately became expunged. And Judge Newbarth and Judge Calcagno, and these are old-fashioned judges who lived in San Francisco at the USF, came here and they ran Department 22, and they absolutely understood that this marijuana business, this possession business, this idea of relating to each other and giving small amounts away should not be the end-all for a person's career. So we're lucky to be here, and thanks for coming.